Hi everyone, it's Nicole here and welcome to Tillage Village. Today we're going to show you quickly how to grow some of your vegetables. Okay, so come along and let's start growing. So what you're going to do is you're going to get your pot. You can get any type of pot. You can get the plastic pots that they sell. You can get cups, styrofoam cups, any type of small pot, as long as you put holes in the bottom. So just put some holes in the bottom of the pot. If the pot already has holes, then that's great. Then we are going to fill it with soil, just like this, not all the way to the top. Then we're going to water it. We're going to water it down quite heavily. Now, once you have soaked the soil, wet it down, you can make a little space like this. Get your seeds, you pop them in, and you just cover it back over. Then you leave it. You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to pile a whole bunch of water on there. It's just simple. You just leave it and then just watch it grow. Now you're going to check this plant every day, or check all your seeds every day, so that it's not dry and it's moist. And after several days, sometimes it can take a week, sometimes it can take 2 weeks, depending on what you've planted, before something germinates. But just don't think because, oh my goodness, after 3 days that there's nothing growing. You just have to be patient. Now you can plant things like strawberries, lettuce. You can plant those in pots and you can keep them in pots. You don't have to transplant them into the ground. It depends on the size of space that you're working with, whether you have a small garden, whether you have a large garden, whether you have no garden at all, or whether you just have a patio area on a balcony maybe. Now I have strawberries growing above ground, and I have strawberries in pots. I also have lettuce that's growing in a pot too, and also lots of herbs. Some are growing in pots, some are growing in raised beds, because I actually want to keep those growing throughout the winter so that I can take them inside when the weather gets quite harsh or changes drastically. So we have lettuce growing in a container that I can put this in the shade now, and we have lettuce in a pot too. Now I seeded the lettuce from seeds into this, and now it's time I'm going to transplant this. But this pot I'm actually going to put in the shade under an oak tree. If you have a shaded area, then you can put that lettuce under there, because lettuce doesn't really like the hot weather. It tends to bolt and get limp. But if you place it in a shaded area, it will do really well. Now this is corn. This is the corn that we planted. This is what we have growing here in the ground. And here is corn that I have in a pot. So I'm going to keep this corn in the pot because this should do really well. And you just place the corn in a sunny area. So even if you have a balcony, you can still grow corn. Just put them either end of the balcony, put the pots, plant the corn. You can direct seed. So put the corn seeds directly into the soil, cover them up, water them, and they should germinate quite quickly. Just keep it warm, in a warm area with lots of sun, and it will do well. So you can do either way, in a pot, or you can put it directly in the ground, depending on the space that you have. Now you can grow tomatoes. You can grow determinate, means they grow to a certain height, or indeterminate means they grow maybe 6 foot and higher. So there's different varieties that you can grow. Just remember to read the back of the label so you know the height that the tomatoes that you're going to grow. Now you can also grow beets. You can grow them in the ground or you can grow them in pots. Either way, they will do just fine. You can also grow carrots. Remember I showed you can grow them in pots? These ones are in the ground, but I'm getting ready to start some more carrots that will be in pots too. Now here we have some peppers. These are in a pot and they're doing just fine. Then we have a different variety of pepper growing in the ground. So either way you can grow peppers too. Just make sure peppers like hot weather. They like the soil hot, they like the sun shining on them. So just remember that when you're growing peppers. And remember you can use these, you know, in the winter time too, when you grow lots of peppers in soups, in stews, casseroles, etc. You can even grow potatoes. You can grow the potatoes in pots, or you can grow potatoes directly in the ground. These potatoes are in wood chips and they're growing. I'm going to show you. See the potatoes growing there? Then there's another one growing there. Another one coming up there. One's coming up there. And another one there. And then we have them in a larger area over here. So you can see all the areas where we planted the potatoes. You see? These are quite high. But we've piled this is probably, I'd say 2 feet high of wood chips. Then when they die back, then the potatoes are ready. But you can see all of this bulging out. So hopefully we get a good harvest of potatoes. But you can grow potatoes in a pot as well. Doesn't have to always be in the ground, you can grow them in a pot. The only thing I would recommend is sweet potatoes, pumpkins. We're growing those, but they do take up a lot of space. These are sweet potatoes, and notice they have vines. So the vines, they just keep going on forever, and they'll just keep growing and growing and producing sweet potatoes. And the interesting thing about when you grow these is there's normally some sweet potatoes once it's harvest time that you forgot to harvest, and you'll find that they've popped up in a different area where you didn't even plant potatoes, but it's where the vine began to grow. So that's all the information about the garden for today. I'm going to go in and I'm going to water bath some pickles that we harvested. So come on, let's go do that. And why are you anxious about clothing? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin, yet I tell you, even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these.